It's not what you did, son, that angers me so. It's who you did it to.
Who? The nobody?
That nobody is John Wick.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you. Always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality is tragedy, bro.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to John Wick Minute, the show where we analyze, scrutinize, and celebrate John Wick 1 minute at a time.
I'm Samuel.
I am Seth.
And I'm Steven, and we will get that intro one day soon. Today we're going to be talking about minute number 6 of John Wick. Minute 6 begins with John walking forward and meeting somebody in the rain, and it ends with John taking one last look at the cemetery. So,
Best minute so far.
is it?
It is, because it introduces... Oh, wait, are you going to play that game with us? Because new character on
Yes.
screen. Okay, because
Yes.
it introduces Willem Dafoe as Marcus.
Oh, so I think we all know him from the same thing. Like the first thing we probably all saw with him, I think.
Back to
Probably.
formula.
Yes. Okay, so Spider-Man, of course. But yes, his IMDb top 4. What do we think his top 4 is?
Well, Spider-Man's got to be in there. For sure.
He's in all these things that I forget that he was in. That I'm
Boondock
really
Saints.
like, oh yeah, there was one. Oh yeah, he was in that. See, there's another one.
I'm trying to think.
There's only one scene from that
famous
movie
ones.
that anybody remembers. Only one.
Oh, the cat.
Yeah, the cat scene.
See, I actually forgot because I've watched that movie multiple times. Because
Only part that I
because the
remember.
Scottish guy who plays their dad is the same guy in Last Samurai. Total rabbit trail here, but he's fantastic. He's also the guy who plays Muppet Treasure
Oh, Billy
Island.
Connolly?
Billy Connolly, that's
What?
his name.
Billy Connolly.
I blanked on his name.
Oh.
He's their dad.
He's also in The Hobbit, Battle of Five Armies.
Yes, he is.
But he's like CG for some
Weird.
reason. I still never understood that.
Yeah, it's anyway. That movie is. We're not going to talk about that movie. Let's see. So
I
you
don't
got
know.
Boondock Saints,
Honestly,
Spider-Man.
I'm trying to remember one of the movies he's in, and it's hard.
I've seen him in
So
so many
I
things. It's actually difficult.
Feel
He's one of my
unqualified.
favorites.
I feel unqualified to have a movie podcast because, well, 2 movie podcasts because I only know him from one of his top 4, even though I've heard of 2 of the others. The first is Spider-Man, The Florida Project, At Eternity's Gate,
No.
where he plays Vincent Van Gogh, and The Lighthouse, which there were memes of that one, but it's like a black and white movie.
Nope, no idea.
But
I've seen him in a lot of things. None of those except Spider-Man.
when I say black and white, I mean modern made black and white.
Ah,
So,
interesting.
yeah.
Huh.
Cool.
Yeah.
The only complaint I have about this film, I have some complaints about certain John Wick films. But as far as the first one goes, the only complaint I have is that they kill Marcus, and he's no longer a character in the rest of the series. It's a crime.
Wow.
Spoilers.
Yes, spoilers on a movie that just had its 4th chapter release.
Listen.
Gotta
And I'm the only
save
one
it
who's
for the
seen that.
climactic moment.
While we're talking about Willem Dafoe, I have to ask you two, which performance is better, Spider-Man or No Way Home? His performance, specifically.
Oh man. No Way Home.
Or are they the same?
The problem with saying No Way Home is it wouldn't exist without the other one. That's the same problem I'm
Right.
having at the moment with, like, do I like John Wick 1
It's
or
not
John
a
Wick 4
problem. They
better?
both exist. It's
Yes,
not a problem. They both
Which
exist.
right,
performance
but,
is
but
better.
the second performance is informed by the first one. So it's
Sure.
not...
But
you
there's an
can't compare them
objective
equally.
scale of acting.
I
Yes,
think you can.
It's acting.
Okay, let's
You
hear it.
can't, because let's look at Alfred Molina, specifically in No Way Home. He's not as good as he was in the original, and that's all there is to it.
Agreed.
He's
He has
not
less
as good,
lines.
but his
Yeah,
delivery
but also not as good.
there's something about it. And don't get me wrong, he's a fantastic actor. I think he has an Oscar, doesn't he? I don't know,
I
but
don't know.
Like, that means
he's not as
anything
good as he was.
nowadays.
He was so natural in Spider-Man 2. No Way Home, it was a bit more like rusty. Like he hadn't been in that groove in a very
Okay.
long time.
I don't know. I think you can
Fine.
objectively compare
I think you
like acting performances by people, especially playing the same character in a sequel.
Right. I see the point you're making. I guess I'm saying with Willem Dafoe's, it's not like one is rusty and one is not.
Right.
So I would put them
Very
on
true.
a level enough playing field that the balance
think he had to
tips
be
towards
more
the
dynamic.
first one.
In No Way Home.
Just because, yeah, see, I would say it tips towards the first one because he establishes all of that. It's just No Way Home let him build on it. So it's not that it's better, but he was able to do a little bit more. But yeah, I can see what you're saying with Alfred Molina.
Like,
and Sandman. Same goes for Sandman.
Well, Sandman was just his voice, wasn't it? Like all the actual footage of him was taken from
right, but
Spider-Man
his
3.
voice line delivery was
maybe.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I'm just saying, I think William Dafoe had to do more in No Way Home, and he did it amazingly. So if you have to do more than what you had to do, and you also do it excellently, then I think that makes it better. Quote unquote.
I'll just say they're both perfect.
They are very, very good. I will say his line, "Norman's on sabbatical, honey," is like my favorite line of any Marvel movie, and he does it so well. I got chills in the theater.
He's still the best Marvel villain to ever exist. In my
but this
humble
is
opinion.
rabbit trail. We can do
but
that.
It's
probably
Marcus.
right.
It's tied into this. Willem Dafoe is
I want to follow this rabbit trail. I want to follow this rabbit trail.
No, I'm
trying to think of a better one.
There isn't. Thanos would be number 2, Loki would be number 3, or maybe Loki number 2, Thanos number 3. But I'm putting Willem Dafoe as number 1.
Yeah, I can't think of a single one better. You're right. Even Hugo Weaving as Red Skull was really good, but it's not. It wasn't.
Yep.
He's
anyhow
for me, probably.
So
anyway,
if you couldn't tell, I love.
If that's
Ultron.
If you couldn't tell, I'm a Willem Dafoe fan. I like him a lot. I have some things about this minute. So first off, this is the first real dialogue of the film.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that's number 1. That one was really easy.
Okay.
Number 2, did any of you notice anything strange about Mr. Wick in this minute? This couple of scenes. From the graveside to, well, I guess it starts with him speaking or walking up to him. So from the moment he walks up to him to the end of the minute, nothing jumped out at you. He has 2 different umbrellas.
Oh, did he?
When he first walks up to Willem Dafoe, Marcus, he has a giant umbrella. Then when you get another zoom out shot, when Marcus is like walking away, he has a tiny umbrella. And then when it zooms back in, he has a giant umbrella again. It's 2 completely different umbrellas.
I definitely didn't notice that.
You're welcome.
Again. They must have shot him at different times or something then, or ran a couple takes with a big and a small and then combined them, or I don't know what. But
and now that you know it's there, you're going to go back and watch, be like, whoa, that is really noticeable.
I'll never not notice
post.
The same way Rey's disappearing knife happened.
That's true.
Yeah, but that's Star Wars and Kathleen Kennedy, so I expect mistakes.
So there's got to be a point where like they didn't notice until editing, and they're like, you know how much it would cost to get Keanu, Willem Dafoe back in the cemetery for one day for a reshoot.
Oh,
CG can solve an umbrella.
CG umbrella actually probably would have fixed it.
I don't know.
They literally
their
cut his
budget was
finger off
small
in the
and tight.
third one.
Yes, but the
That's
budget for
true.
the third one was like 3 times that of the first.
Yeah.
True.
This was the shoestring.
Mm-hmm.
So I think one of the more interesting parts about this, we've talked about this a little bit before, but I had a friend, they had never watched the movies before. And so they're hopefully going to go with us to go watch the 4th one. And well, so one of the things they brought up, they're like, well, because they'd never seen it before, right? And her husband's actually Russian, so this was interesting. I'm like, just so you know, the Russians are the bad guys. And she's Asian, which, as we talked about in our episode 1, it's always the Russians, the Asians, or the Germans. The Germans are the bad guys. Like,
Asians are the bad guys in like episode 3. Movie
in
3.
3, yeah. So like, well, we'll just cover all our stereotypical basis. But their comment was, it feels a little dated. I'm like, okay, it is 2014. I view it through a different lens of, and there are parts of it that do feel dated. But then like the over colorizing was another comment they made, and I'm like, okay, yes, but my argument back, and they weren't like, it wasn't necessarily like a knock or anything, but it's like this is like very blue. Yeah, this scene. I said, right, and I said actually they're telling the story twice. Like, so whenever it's his wife, it's yellow, warm, fuzzy. When he's in a mood, it's blue or gray. And then when it's the mix of blue and red, you've got him in his broody mood, but also his like killing people. But so like the story's told in color, and this scene is very, very blue.
That takes it back to it being like heavily inspired by comic book frames, though.
Right,
that color. So
it does. It looks exactly like a comic panel. If you imagine two guys in the rain with umbrellas talking, like at a funeral, like this looks like a comic book.
And this is not a theme that carries over into the other films. Not really, anyway. The second one might have a little bit, but by the time you get to the fourth movie, each set piece has its own theme. And they're all, I mean, the cinematography, being the only one that's currently seen the fourth movie, the cinematography and the choreography and the lighting, everything in that movie is like another step up, and it's a visual masterpiece on top of just being a good movie. Like, but so it is different from this.
The second one does carry some of it through, though. Not maybe as contrasting, but the second one definitely does it too, with the tunnel scene, right?
Yeah. There's some of it for sure, but I think by the time you get to the fourth, it has faded out. They're not using that technique as much anymore, which is fine. But it really does stand out in this first film.
Yeah. No, it's true. They had to bring it a little more to realism.
Yeah. So
you say that, and he survives a 50-foot fall off a roof in the third movie.
Listen, you don't need to bring reality into this.
Correct. This is right. That's like I sent you a Hacksmith video. They have made the bulletproof suit.
I watched it.
Yes,
I watched
it. They made a bulletproof 3-piece suit. It's great. However,
that can stand up to 45 caliber.
Yes, amazing. But we don't watch John Wick for realism. This is, as I saw one reviewer put it, this is an alternate universe. And it's fantastic.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying if they, they're taking the color palette, they're doing it as a visual, slightly more realism. Although, remember Parabellum?
Oh my gosh.
They also like super green.
Yeah, right, but it's the different set pieces. That's what I mean, like, because the fourth movie has that too. But they've moved right. It's each different set piece has its own color.
You're right.
But I think part of that's probably the budget, because color grading in post is much simpler to do than going out and setting up the lighting and doing all the extra visual effects stuff. But it's a very effective way to set the mood in this movie, and they use it very, very well.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah. So anyway, Marcus and John have a conversation by the graveside. It's brief, but it's you can tell they've known each other from the past. They're old friends. There's this little amount of world building because it doesn't over-explain. It doesn't talk about like how they knew each other. It's just like they're friends. You accept it. You don't have to worry about it. It makes it feel lived in. You believe their friendship. Like, both actors are like, again, Willem Dafoe is just perfect. He's got this caring, like genuine caring about John, wanting to see he's okay. Very good performance.
But there's tension. But there's tension, right? So, like, I was explaining this to my friends too. Well, yeah. I was explaining this to my friends too. Like, they're like, we don't know who this person is. We don't. I'm like, that's like the mystique and the we're gonna slowly world build. That's what makes it intriguing and interesting. But I do feel in this scene right away. Because he asked him, like, what are you doing here? Like, he doesn't expect him as a friend.
There's the foreboding music when you see his profile.
Yeah.
Like, it's,
right.
You know.
Right. So that's where, he's a friend, but is he? I think they do really well at,
and
capturing
that does pay off later in the film when he has a rifle pointed at his head. You're like, wait, what's going to happen?
That's my point. Yeah. I think from right away, there's a connection, but are we really we're friends, but are we
Should you ever
here,
really
so
trust
you
Willem
care.
Dafoe anyway, though? So
I'm something of an assassin myself.
Oh man,
I couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
So I don't know if we want
title for you.
Yes, I love it.
I don't know if we want to go too deep into the worldviews here. Open this can of worms, but Marcus is definitely like atheist or secular humanist atheist.
Oh yeah. His line about
what was it? It's days like today
happen.
Scattered among the rest. There's no reason to this life. Nihilist. Thank you. That's the one. That's the word I was looking for.
Well, in terms of like, is there something afterwards? But he just means like in dealing with life crisis. There's no rhyme or reason. Things just happen, and well, that's depressing. But also makes sense how you could be a contract killer then.
And it matches the tone of the film.
It does.
That's what we call the naturalist.
But that's also the tension of the film is, I would say the series as a whole. Now that I've watched all 4, Wick's thing is always about, like in this, it's revenge because something mattered and it was taken away. But the motive is that something mattered. You get into the second movie. He gets drugged back into the life. But again,
I refuse to go back into this life.
No, right. The third one, though, is he doesn't want... Or no, maybe it is the second one. He doesn't want to die because he wants to remember his wife. Like, this whole theme of there are important things in life to live for, to fight for. That is a theme throughout the whole series, despite the Marx's comment here.
Things important enough for 70-some people to die for.
Exactly. Like my puppy. But we haven't met the puppy yet.
We will.
I wonder what his top 4 IMDb films are.
I do have a fun fact about that puppy, but that'll come later.
This is not a wishbone puppy. That was a terrier. No. This is a beagle or bugle.
It needs a reboot. It needs a bugle? I don't think it's a bugle.
No, it's a beagle.
Those are those chips that you put on your fingers.
Yes. Or those things.
Yeah.
Or a beagle poodle cross.
Oops.
A beagle poodle cross. Peagle?
A boodle? A boodle? I don't know.
Well, anyway, we've gone off the rails, I think. Is there anything else for minute 6?
No, the 2 umbrellas was my my big thing.
Yeah. There you go.
He's so proud of himself for it.
I am. Go back and watch
everyone, check out our TeePublic store. We do have a John Wick Minute TeePublic store. The link is in the show notes. Maybe it'll be in the YouTube descriptions. I'm not sure yet, but hopefully.
If I forget to put it there, you can always go back in and add it.
Sure.
Yeah, it'll be there someday.
Find a link to the TeePublic store, and we got some John Wick Minute merchandise over there you can check out if you want.
Also,
eventually, we'll have social media stuff too. Which by the time you listen to this,
maybe.
But I am going to shamelessly plug. I will have a review of John Wick 4 out on my personal YouTube channel, the Utah Gun Guy channel. Because if you've seen the movie, you go watch it. It will have spoilers, so these 2 are not allowed to watch it till they've seen the movie.
Yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
No touchy.
And follow us on all of your favorite podcast listening apparatuses. And this podcast is also in video, so you can watch it on YouTube on the John Wick Minute YouTube channel.
In fact, the intro doesn't make any sense. Yo.
He cut out.
Did his audio cut out from YouTube?
His audio cut out, but what he was saying was the intro is way better if you watch it.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Which maybe we'll end up doing a separate one for the podcast listeners. But right now it's supposed to draw you, be like, what's happening? So you come to YouTube and watch.
Oh,
because YouTube is trying to be a big podcast platform. So,
yeah. Well, anyway, so that sounds like it's it for minute 6. Can you guys join me tomorrow as we talk about this movie?
I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I don't have any important obligations.
Tomorrow's my wife's birthday. Sorry, got to cancel.
Uh-huh. All right. Well, anyway.
Okay. Lead us out. Lead us out.
Me? I gotta
let us in.
Okay.
Lead us out.
Well then, everyone, you will see us and hear us on the next episode of the John Wick Minute.
There's always one.
So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide. We move forward like soldiers.